Bing, bong, bong, bing. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong, Christmas. Bing, bong, bong, bing. Bing, bing, bong, 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 Christmas. Bing, bong, bong, bing. Bing, bong, bing, 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 bong, Christmas. Bing, bong, bong, bing. Bing, bong, Christmas time. Oh my god, I fucking love presents so much. I love running downstairs and finding a bunch of expensive shit wrapped in paper. Rip it open like a fucking psychopath Tasmanian devil. My favorite toy is under the tree. If they didn't give me what I wanted, I'll kill them in their sleep. It's as simple as that, folks. And that's what Christmas is all about, everybody. It's about going fucking psychopathic whenever you don't get what you want. Too much eggnog. Dude, I want some eggnog. I've been craving that. I've just been craving eggnog. I've just been craving his nog all day. Or eggnog, sorry. You have a fake tree and fake presents that are high rise. Fake presents? What the hell is that shit about? You're gonna get yourself killed. It's blasphemy to any child, and they are dangerous. The true meaning of Christmas is spending time with friends and family, Drew. I don't know about all that, man. Seems a little far-fetched. You had another dream with me in it? Was it a daymare? Sexbot general with the two. I'm here to destroy Jake. I'm going to end the game. We were attacked. My whole page has been attacked by sexbots trying to get people to go to Telegram or whatever the fuck. So if you guys see that message underneath here, because I get like message requests saying like, hey, is this a scam? And it's like, let's read Big Time Hot Dog America #1. Follow me on Telegram, I give you money. I'm like, nah, that's technically not my username, so would suggest not going to Telegram. Has anyone seen Let's Read? They said I won a prize. Hello? David De La Rosa Jr. with the 2 says, hi Joel, you made my night. Thank you. Welcome. Good to see you. You saw my tweet. Yeah, I don't know. Someone made a good suggestion where you go and like there's certain keywords that you can like block or whatever if they're offensive or whatever, and maybe I'll just make one of them sex bots or no, like Telegram or I don't know, all that shit. Yeah, you just want for Christmas, all I want is my 4x4 plot of trees and my Lord or Lady title. I've been waiting all goddamn year for this. Hi, a stitch in time. What about Stitch?
Stitch in time.
Also, yeah, tonight we got more Christmas stories, but they're not true crime stories. They are from you crime stories. From your own personal experiences. Wait, there's a shitting meteor shower tonight? Really? Where at? Where can you see it? Are we gonna get hit? So that Telegram stunt is fake. I want to press. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's happened on a ton of YouTube channels where like these bots will steal your profile picture and pretend to be you, and then like, even though clearly the fucking name on the profile is like not Let's Read at all. It'll be something like Let's Read 69420. Big win. You want to come to my plot? No, my 4x4 square plot of conservation forest is filled with bear traps and various radiation. It's like, if you ever played the game Stalker, it's like that. It's like the fucking Soviet Union era nuclear testing zone. But we do it on a very micro level. Lynn with the 2 says, finals almost done and got a za in the oven, so ready. Hell yeah. I got your za. Everyone's gearing up for finals. Fuck finals, dude. It's such a stupid like concept, you know what I mean? Hey, let's stress everyone out with the end of the year with a covering every, I don't know, dude, like the human memory is useful, but it just seems like such a pointless thing to like constantly test people in a sort of institutionalized fashion, you know what I mean? Can you remember this? Can you remember that? Can you remember when I hit you over the head with a baseball bat? Oh, you don't? Good. Because you're not supposed to. Now give me $40,000. Johnny Burrows with the 2 says, I've never been to your live, but I love your videos. Thank you, Johnny. It was good to see you. Yeah, for anybody new to the live streams, we're just chilling every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday in the evening time. And you get to hear me recording stories. You can see the timer on screen is counting down, where we just chill for a little while. And then I'll switch over to a little bit more of a spooky atmosphere, and you get to hear me make 1,000 mess ups while narrating and reading and recording. Grades are fucking stupid. Like the pressure with grades is so pointless, like all the stress for it to not matter in 5 years. Yeah, I mean, especially once you start working in your field and shit. Also, you said you worked, or you're in like art and stuff like that. I wonder how they even go about grading art. I mean, I guess if you're trying to implement specific like things that they've taught, you know, in that class, I mean, I guess that makes some sense. Alex Love, oh my gosh, almost 2 years in the Buttersock calls. Almost 2 years. How exciting. Love you, Joel. It was my birthday a few days ago. This is the best present. Well, happy early birthday to you, Alex. How you been? It's been a while. Well, no, happy late birthday, sorry. It's awesome if you have a photographic memory, though, which I did, but no longer the gift has been stripped. Really? You lose your photographic memory. I guess it does, memory in general does degrade over time, but... So you could just look at something once or hear it in class or something, and it was just... AJ Curtis with the 2 says, asked an AI for a creepypasta of a tax collector. Did you get something? You should submit it to me subreddit. Subreddit. And Hitsubasa with the 5 says, woo, by the way, a tornado hit a mall 5 minutes away from me. Oh my god, tornado? Is it tornado season?
Merry Christmas. Coming up next is a song by Haru Pandi and...
Do you like Lana Del Rey? I know that name. I don't know if she's one of those like, it's Christmas, avocado, toast, I got my latte in hand. I don't know if she's one of those singers or if she, like, I sort of forget what she does, but the name sounds quite like it's a person. My ears haven't popped from my flight this morning. Oh gosh. Yeah, what's the technique? I just kind of have like the ability to control the back of my like sort of throat, and then I'm able to like pop the ears and stuff on command. But I did know somebody that just like couldn't do it, which really sucked. And I didn't know if they just like weren't familiar with the muscles specific to doing the popping, so they just never, you know, thought of using them. Because you wouldn't think to like, but it's almost like holding your mouth open, but you're not necessarily swallowing, though some people do say you should just swallow, like, but whatever sort of reflex that's back there, you can it kind of activates itself. Force yourself to yawn. Yeah, the yawning does kind of help, or does similar scenario. Buttersock Cult Prophet with the 5 says, Sexbots General, it's like Jacob theme song says, I am the game. You don't want to play me. Jacob is immortal, you can destroy the King of Kings. Lana is sort of ethereal. Lana Del Rey. She can hang out any day. But don't get in my way. Don't get between me and my tea. It's too delicious. She's like ethereal, indie, vintage, glamour, noir. You just made all those words up. I sound like Tom Waits. Who's Tom Waits? I never said what metal bands I like. Well, I feel like I would be doing metal bands a disjustice? An injustice. We can make up a word, it's fine. But I know I would listen to, whenever I would lift real heavy, and I had control of the musical system at the gym, I would play, I would get on Pandora. Anytime I say Pandora, they're like, oh my god, you still use Pandora? Yeah, whatever, same shit. Anyways, and I would play a Lamb of God radio. So just shit within that, like, sort of wheelhouse, I guess. But I don't think I could ever, like, identify a song specifically from a crazy black metal band. I might be able to identify one of the more famous ones. Joel, why do you have birds at the end of your videos? I like them. It feels refreshing after all the horrors. I'm just curious as to why you chose them. Yeah, it's from the movie. It's a reference to the movie Evil Dead. I don't know Tom Waits. I don't think so. I don't know anybody, dude. I was born in 1802. Man, I don't know shit about shit. And I don't really watch many folks on YouTube. But yeah, the birds are a reference to the movie Evil Dead. If you've seen that movie, at the end of it, it's like a happy ending. You know, she escapes, or is it? I forget. Anyway, someone escapes at the end of Evil Dead out of the house, and then the sun's coming up and the birds are chirping in the morning. And to me, it sort of just like it was like one of the only happy endings I've seen in a horror movie in like a long time. And it was like an older movie too. You know what I mean? And yeah, Bruce Campbell. And obviously things changed in the sequel. But I don't know. It was just sort of a pleasant feeling. I'm like, oh, okay, it was all these terrible horrors, and now all of a sudden, things are good, and we're good to go. Yeah, it's a reference to Squawk. Squawk 1. Dintax, good to see ya. But yeah, we got 10 Christmas personal stories here tonight. So I'm glad you guys can come chill and check it out. Do you ever get scared by some of the stories you tell? I guess not really. Maybe some of the true crime stuff. I guess mainly just because I, haven't experienced it myself. And maybe to a degree I've like contemplated or learned subconsciously from these stories to not put myself in certain situations. You know what I mean? That might reflect to what these stories might sort of, like subconsciously teach you to not do, I guess. But Some of the true crime stuff definitely sticks with me because it's just weird. It's just like you really can just kind of be existing, and then someone's just like, "All right, I'm crazy. Time to die." Wait, why are you doing this? I don't know. I got hit in the head when I was in the military or something, or when I was little on the swing. Sorry. I'm evil now. Somebody hit my reset button. I like to eat brains. Arbitrarily. When I tell you stories, you always picture them playing out in my head. That's good. I'm glad that I can generate a narrative of the mind. What's up, Meg? Good to see you. And David De La Rosa, thank you for the 1. Joe, are you going to do a 12 stream days of Christmas? I don't think so. I like to stick to... I like my schedule of Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And I feel like if I streamed on days that, new videos came out, it would kind of like... You'll probably... Any YouTuber you ever talk to will say the same thing. They're probably like slightly superstitious about their pattern in which they do... or upload videos and that kind of thing. And if they don't do it exactly right, they're worried that it's going to upset the YouTube algorithm gods or something, even though it's probably not true. But I always kind of imagine that if I streamed on a day that I upload, that it would just like draw way too many people away from the video, and then they'd never watch it, and then it would never get recommended to new people, and then I'm going to be on the street because I belong to the streets. D Shore with the 30 Buccarino says, "Had the very best night and stream ever, everyone, and happy, merry." Thank you, D Shore, for the twerkable amount of dollarinos. I appreciate you. Always good to see you. And yeah, D Shore, you were saying on Instagram about the bear videos on that comment thread there, but unfortunately in the comment threads you can't send links, I guess, so it probably wouldn't have showed up. Have you ever been knocked out? I think one time when I was doing a football drill way back in the day, it was like the dumbest fucking thing ever. It was just like, it didn't make any fucking sense. It was like, I don't know, it didn't make any sense, honestly. It was as if though one person was in a position of like a linebacker, like ready to go, and you almost had to like get up from like laying down. And I just remember he already had like a running head start or something, and then just like put his helmet directly into mine as hard as he could. And I just remember like briefly like blacking out prior to like getting woken up again as I like hit the ground. But it was like not like in a way that you just got like laid out sort of thing. It was like, I was like, holy shit, where did I go for a second there? I don't know. Maybe I didn't, but the more I don't know, I see like clips of like fucking like boxing and shit. And the more I'm just like, boxing is cool in a sense. But the fact that like you're literally just doing a sport, like a combat sport, where all you do all day is just beat the shit out of each other, and then, from doing it over such a long period of time can actually affect like your nervous system and your brain and all of these terrible things. And like seeing like various times where someone gets hit in a weird way, like in the back of the head, which would be like an illegal hit, or just caught off guard from like touching gloves or something, and then they just like seize up, and then like later on they have, I don't know, swelling on the brain or some bullshit happens that just like essentially paralyzes them for the rest of their life. And it's just like, holy shit, that looks terrible. Boxing is rigged. I mean, maybe the bigger matches or something for big money, but I think there's a lot of people out there that are still literally killing each other, and for what? You know what I mean? You don't even make money until you're like massive. Jacob Bolin with the 1. Thank you, Jacob. UFC is love. I do like watching it. I really do. But it's like sometimes you look at it and you're just like, these sports where people just like hit each other's fucking heads all the time, it's like there's not a lot of longevity in that, just smacking your head into a fucking brick wall over and over again. Did you hear about the movie that is coming out about the true events where a wild bear ate a whole bunch of cocaine that got dropped from a plane in Florida? Looks wild as fuck. I haven't, but I hope that happens here soon. Alright, my friends, that playlist is Christmas is Coming, Songs to Feel Cozy Inside on the Dream Hop Music YouTube channel. So go check that out if you enjoyed it. But thanks for being here, my friends. Appreciate ya. Yeah, what did the bear do once I had all that cocaine? But yeah, I think I'm doing another, or I think I should have enough for another batch of Christmas stories, for another video before Christmas this year. So if you do have any story that you want to submit, but you know, if you have a Christmas one specifically, do send them in to reddit.com/letsreadofficial. No, reddit.com/r/letsreadofficial. Or letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com. It's so weird. The chat like keeps running away from me for some reason. Like the chat box is going all the way down, but for some reason it just like half of the chat box is like not filled up. It's just like, did you know? Family Guy reference. Lucina, you love me. I love you too. Good to see you. And good to see everyone. I'll kick these stories off here. We will rock and roll with the first one. Get you in the spooky mood. Spooky. Of course, I don't know why. Oops, sorry. It's my fucking mic. Jerry, I don't know. Shit, just, you gotta have it absolutely lined up. Otherwise, you just feel weird. I've been watching and listening to the stories you put out for just over a year, and I want you to know how much they've helped me. Hearing first-hand accounts from people who've suffered through tragic or terrifying life events is something I find deeply cathartic. Not because I enjoy hearing their pain, but because there's light at the end of the tunnel. Revisit a terrifying event by... Whoops. Revisiting a terrifying event by writing it down seemed impossible to me at one point. Like it was the bravest thing in the world, and I knew that a big part of therapizing? Dude, it's like, it's so weird. The chat, like, if I don't pay attention to it, it's just like slowly going up to the point where it's like disappearing, but like no new ones are being added. That's really fucking weird. I don't know if I can reset the... I don't know. Whatever. Whatevs. Seriously, though, thank you for the content. You're welcome. It's what I do, baby. Oops. Revisiting a terrifying event by writing it down seemed impossible to me at one point. Like it was the bravest thing in the world, and I knew that a big part of therapizing myself would be to work up to doing just that, so... Now that I'm able, I feel duty-bound to continue the tradition and share my story with others. I'm hoping that writing this up will be like shoving my trauma into a burlap sack, and sending it to you will be like tossing it off a metaphorical cliff. But at the bare minimum, this story can at least serve as a lesson for others. Last year, the upper management of the office that I worked at decided to throw a little Christmas party. I've worked in the office environment for most of my life, and office parties tended to be tepid at best and tiresome at worst, but this one seemed way different. Like tons of sectors, COVID had a big effect on the way we worked, and although there was a huge novelty to working spreadsheets in a onesie while tossing treats at my cat, the lack of social interaction really got to me after a while. I'm a people person, and I actually liked a lot of the folks that I worked with, so when COVID dragged me into the winter... When COVID dragged on into the winter of 2020 and it became obvious that there'd be no Christmas party that year, I was actually kind of upset. So last year when the subject of a Christmas party came up, the whole office got super excited. Stuff like that was the good part of getting back to normal, and if we had to suffer the bad parts like commuting and weekly meetings, we were damn sure going to make sure that we were damn sure going to make use of the perks, too. In the run-up to the night of the party, we organized a Secret Santa list, ran a Best Christmas Sweater competition, all stuff that we found corny in years gone by that we approached with a fresh vigor. But that fresh vigor applied to the party itself. What? But that fresh... S.J. Curtis with the 150, thank you. Do I want some soup? I'll take some soup. What kind of soup we talking? A little soupy boy. Ever done a face reveal? I have not, no. Oh yeah, anybody play High on Life yet? I do want to play that, honestly. Hopefully the gunplay is actually fun, but honestly just the jokes might be worth it itself. But that vigor applied to the party itself, which was planned to be held in the office on the evening of Thursday the 23rd, which was the last working day before the extended holiday weekend. We agreed that we'd all pull a few bucks to buy beers and wine coolers, but there'd be no hard liquor present at the party. This is a standard operating procedure for pretty much all office parties, as beer brings the cheer, but whiskey makes them frisky, so generally speaking, everyone managed to behave themselves. But not last year. I don't know if it was all the stress and social isolation of before coming to full fore. I don't know if it was all the stress and social isolation coming to the forefront, but it quickly became obvious that many of us would be bringing a little extra with us. For most of us, that little extra would come in a hip flask. For most of us, that little extra would come in a hip flask, but for others, it came in a considerably smaller package. So on the night of the party, folks are getting nicely warmed up, letting loose, and talking a little more freely. Then, once the atmosphere was suitably festive, my closest office buddy gave me a little wink and ushered me away to one of the storage closets. Inside were a handful of the younger folks I worked with, all in the progress of loading up their drinks with a mix of hip flasks and miniature liquor bottles. The goal obviously being to get as drunk as possible, as quickly as possible. I too had a few minibar sized... God, I don't know, I can't find my fucking rhythm tonight, dude. Pro tip, sinus rinses are actually underrated for congestion. Yeah, they're pretty dope. I have that Navage thing that shoots saline water through your sinuses. You should really think about narrating audiobooks. You know, I've definitely thought about it, and it's always like a fallback if things with YouTube were to just suddenly explode, but it's more just a time thing, you know what I mean? If I had a huge interest in the audiobook that I'd be reading, or it was some crazy deal, I'd be totally on board, but the only thing that I'd really be interested in doing on the side, at least currently, aside from just doing YouTube stuff, is character work for or something for a project, I could still do narrative work, but it would have to be for some interesting project, whether it be a game or I don't know, some sort of interactive thing or a movie or whatever, you know. The narrator master. I too had a few minibar-sized bottles, and right as I'm trying to unscrew the cap with my teeth, not the most ladylike thing I've ever done, I see a guy pull out a little baggie of white powder. Now, I don't mess with hard drug stuffs like that. But I'm also not a particularly judgmental person. But while I wasn't exactly about to snitch on them, I didn't really feel like hanging out while people took what turned out to be coke. So then, right as they start fixing to take it, I take my cue to leave after they told me that they'd only be a few minutes. I remember just kind of forgetting about them for a while. I swanned off with my vodka-laced wine cooler, drinking and dancing and laughing my butt off with folks that I've never normally socialized with. And it felt great. Things were back to normal again, and we all could just get on with our lives like everything didn't really happen, and almost getting laid off. God damn it, I can't. There's so many fucking references to COVID, it's so annoying. The bear died almost immediately, but they're making a movie called Cocaine Bear. Okay, so it's more just like, I don't know, the bear goes psychopathic or something. Hawk, you're starting a fire? Are you doing that indoors? Yeah, I'd love to voice over villains. I don't know, I think villains are just more like cooler characters, and I feel like my voice would be better suited towards evil people. But, you know, I don't know. I swear, I'm getting ever so closer to just making something. Just, you know, not everything can be perfect, but you can at least try. And, you know, the one good thing I did see is a lot of voice actors are older. You know, they've been doing it for 30 years, and I think that's really encouraging to me to know that, like, I could start today and then, you know, still be grinding at it at 65, you know what I mean? And then I die, and then everybody cries, and then they move on. It'd be great. You want me to narrate your inner monologue of a 6-year-old girl in a comedy movie? That would be really funny. Just the contrast. It felt great. Things were back to normal again, and we could all just get on with our lives like the whole lockdown and almost getting laid off thing hadn't happened at all. And then, right as I'm getting seriously tipsy, Mariah Carey hit the airwaves. Now, as many of you know, the song All I Want for Christmas Is You has the power to turn even the most buttoned down of Christmas gatherings into a full-blown festive what the fuck is that word? I don't want to use that word. That's a stupid word. Let's see, I'm just synonyms. Fuss, agitation, maybe commotion? I don't fuck. Whatever. As many of you will know, the song All I Want for Christmas Is You has the power to turn even the most buttoned down of Christmas. Fuck, man. As many of you will know, the song All I Want for Christmas Is You has the power to turn even the most buttoned down of Christmas gatherings into a full-blown festive commotion. It unleashes the inner diva of every... this is like so wildly wordy for no fucking reason. God, dude. Some people just like to grab a thesaurus and just write stories sometimes. I get it, I guess. Six-year-old stubs toe Joel. Lisa knew this was the end. All I want for Christmas is you. It unleashes the diva of every bespectacled... What is this word? Bespectacled? Bespectacled? Bus-fucking-spectacled? Jesus Christ. Be spectacled. I need a new word. I'm not using that word. That shit's annoying. Because it just, like, it's distracting to the story, you know what I mean? Like, someone's gonna, like, pause the video and be like, what? Bespectacled? What the fuck are they talking about? And I can't be having my audience get educated on shit. That's insanity. Are you a crazy person? Oh my god, inner diva of every... Jesus fucking Christ. I don't know, man. It unleashes the inner diva of every housewife who's even had a whiff of alcohol, because it's just not Christmas without Mariah. Myself and my office BFF had discussed the song's magical properties on multiple occasions prior to the party, so the second it came on, I started rubbernecking to see where she was. She'd been one of the folks doing drugs in the storage closet, the same folks who told me that they'd be out in a minute. But way more than just a minute had passed, and not a single one of them was anywhere to be seen. All I Want for Christmas Is You was still in that slow introductory phase, so the second it hit, I knew I had exactly 50 seconds. 50 sec... What the fuck? This person knows way too goddamn much. Way too goddamn much about Mariah Carey. Ja. Spectacle. All I Want for Christmas Is You was still in that slow introductory phase, so the second it hit, I knew I had exactly 57 seconds to find my office BFF so we could be singing and dancing along with it right as the first verse kicked in. I'm frantically looking around, assuming that she was out of the storage closet, but when I couldn't see any of them, I decided that I better go check the closet. I remember rushing over to the closet, trying to fall over? Oh. I remember rushing over to the closet, trying not to fall over my kitten heels, ready to drag her out whether she was done loading up or not so we could get to dancing. But then, right as I'm only a few feet away from the closet door, it opens up, and one of the younger guys basically falls out of the open door and collapses on the ground in front of me. My first thought was actually something like, geez, what were you pre-gaming with, moonshine? But then the guy looks up at me, this terrified look in his eyes, and slurs the words, as I slur my words. But then the guy looks up at me, with this terrified look in his eyes, and slurs the words, I can't feel my legs. I immediately go into crisis mode, rushing to turn off the music so I can hear the 911 operator, with people slowly realizing that one of the younger team members, who shall remain anonymous for reasons that will become obvious, was suffering from some kind of medical emergency. There were a few ripples of panic at first, but in spite of being a little worse for wear, our office manager quickly got to keeping everyone calm while a few others started administering first aid. I just kept myself focused on giving the right information, and when the dispatcher asked me to go over to my coworker to relay some basic information to her, I rushed back over just in time to see someone opening up the storage closet. Because of the angle that I was approaching, I didn't immediately laced with fentanyl? Maybe. Holy shit. Because of the angle that I was approaching, I didn't immediately see the inside of the club. Dude, what the fuck? I'm like... Hold on, let me reset my fucking face. Let me reset my face. My voice helps calm down your dogs. I heard people say that their dogs come over and are chill. You ain't got no legs, Lieutenant Dan. Yeah, next Christmas I'll finish the story. We'll get there. 2023. Because of the angle that I was approaching, I didn't immediately see how the inside of the closet looked, but I did catch my coworkers' reaction as they opened the door up and looked inside. In a split second, their expression went from concerned and curious to completely and utterly horrified, and I suddenly realized where my office BFF was. She was lying in the storage closet, along with the rest of the folks who'd been taking drugs, and each of them were either dead or dying. I know this might sound like a Just Say No themed after-school special at this point, but I promise you, that's not what this is. I experimented plenty in college, and I'm hardly a nun these days either. 99 times out of 100 by coworkers. 99 times out of 100, my coworkers could have sneaked off to do a little blow, then returned to enjoy their dumb office party with a little more pep in their step. I'm not condoning that. What is that sentence? God damn it. 99 times out of 100, my coworkers could have sneaked off to do a little blow, then returned to enjoy their dumb office party with a little more pep. Oh, okay. I keep thinking it's like a da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain what I'm looking for. 99 times out of 100, my coworkers could have snuck off to do a little blow, then returned to enjoy their dumb office party with a little more pep in their step. I'm not condoning that either, but it is what it is. Only on that occasion, and totally unbeknownst to anyone, they didn't just do a little blow, because for some god-forsaken reason, their little bag of coke was laced with fentanyl. I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain what fentanyl is. Everyone and their mama knows that a grain of it is enough to kill a dozen people, and we later found out that there was so much in their systems that they were probably dead before they even realized what was happening, and the guy who fell out of the closet hadn't actually done any. He just touched a little before collapsing and almost ODing. He was the only guy who survived, all thanks to 2 cops who had been in the area with some Narcan in their car. And for those that don't know, Narcan is basically this miracle drug that stops heroin overdoses, and it comes in a little nasal spray. And if it wasn't for the cops being equipped and trained to use it, 4 people would have died that night, instead of just 3. As you can probably guess, the whole thing just rocked our office, and the whole town too, really. We had to shut down for a while. We had to shut down while the cops investigated the whole thing. Some of us went to visit the survivors in the hospital, and then at Hope. Then at Hope? What does that mean? In the hospital, then at Hope. Oh, at home. Okay. You just found out your ex got remarried for the 6th time. God damn, that sounds like a pain in the ass. We had to shut down for a while. We had to shut down while the cops investigated the whole thing, and some of us went to visit the survivors in the hospital and then at home. Some people just didn't return to work at all. It was beyond heartbreaking for everyone involved. I, for one, spent a lot of time with the family of my office BFF, grieving with them, supporting them as best I could, and just trying to make sense of it all. I don't work at that office anymore, and although the office I now work at is throwing a Christmas party, I know I won't be attending this year. I'll make up some excuse at the last minute. Make some excuse at the last minute. I'll make up some excuse at the last minute, tell them that I'm feeling under the weather or something, but those close to me will know why Christmas won't really be Christmas for me this year. It's not because there'll be no Mariah Carey. It'll be because there'll be no office best friend forever. May she, and the others who died that night, forever rest in peace. I don't want to live for Christmas. You can hear a red editing pen scratching through superfluous words. Yeah, I'm just fucking scrawling through them. I feel like you wouldn't really want to use superfluous words whenever your friends are dead, you know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't... It doesn't really seem like the time nor place to show off your vocabulary. Faceless McGee, what's going on? You've made it to a cult meeting. This is what we call the streams. Yeah, married 6 times. You'd think after like 2, you would start to just be like, why don't you just be my girlfriend for a while? See how that goes. I don't know. 6 times, you know what I mean? Like that. Unless they were like, sorry, we can't have sex unless we're married. I don't know. You saw a story where a cop needed Narcan after treating someone else, all because he touched the guy who used fentanyl. That's crazy, man. Fentanyl. Yeah, my friends are dead, but here's all the Mariah Carey. I don't know, maybe that helps her cope or something. I have no fucking idea. He's probably in the chat right now. Gonna kill me. Sorry. Okay. At the end of last November, me and my mom went to watch the Christmas lights ceremony in the town center of where we live. It's something we've done every year since I was little, and although it was more mulled wine than... Mulled wine? I've never even heard of mulled wine. Is that a thing? Mulled wine. Man, I don't know shit about shit, dude. What is mulled wine? Mulled wine, also known as spiced wine, is an alcoholic drink usually made with red wine along with various mulling spices and sometimes raisins served hot or warm. Okay. It's interesting. Distilled mold. Is it really? Or no? You're trolling me. Mo wine, mo problems. I don't know, I just don't drink much ever. I'm more of a fentanyl guy. It's something we've done every year since I was little, and although it's more mulled wine than hot cocoa these days, it's an event we still take a great amount of joy in. But not last year. Last year something happened that will taint the light ceremony for a long time to come. And although with time I'm sure things will get back to normal, those that were there that night will always remember. The annual ceremony switching on the town center's The annual ceremonial switching on the town center's Christmas lights is quite a big deal, and it isn't confined to just the event itself. And there's a Christmas market with all kinds of food stalls and a Santa's grotto for the kids. It's a great time, and there's usually a celebrity guest brought in to do the job of pushing the big red button which turns the lights on. If we're a fan of whoever's brought in, me and my mom always camp out at the front so we can take pictures and stuff, but last year, it was just one of those people from Love Island, so we were content to do. But last year, it was just one of the people from Love Island, so we were content to take advantage of the lack of queue at the mulled wine kiosk before watching from the back of the crowd. Now, the light ceremony always takes place in one of the 2 big town squares, so it's a big open space surrounded by larger streets and smaller streets. Me and my mom happened to be right near one of these poorly lit smaller streets where a group of kids were hanging around and generally causing mischief. They looked to be about 12 to 14 and seemed divided into 2 distinct groups, one all boys and one all girls. There was a lot of teasing and name-calling going back and forth, and once or twice, someone in the crowd would turn around to shush them. This kept on going for a while, with the noise escalating and diminishing, and it honestly seemed like nothing but innocent fun. But then, after a particularly vicious-sounding exchange, I felt like it was my turn to turn around to tell them to behave themselves. One of the girls was shining the light of her mobile phone right in his face, and she was saying, "You're on live, you're on live." So I'm assuming it was something to do with social media, too. The boy was strongly objecting, saying, "Stop filming me, stop," over and over again, and then suddenly, he lashed out with a closed fist, knocking the girl backwards before he and his friends ran away. I wasn't the only one who saw it, so I didn't have to alert anyone as cries of, "Hey, Heather, welcome to the Buttersock Cult. Good to see you. You have access to bonus content." Where's Fry? I haven't seen Fry. He said he was going away for a while, didn't he? Or I forget. He's on vacay. You hate the word grotto. Climb into my grotto, kids. Santa's grotto. It's like Santa's like nest. It's just like a bunch of like wet sticks and like a muddy pit out in the woods. Come on, kids. Come get your presents. Brooklyn Gonzalez, welcome back for 19 months. And the Buttersaw cold. I wasn't the only one who saw it, so I didn't have to alert anyone as... I wasn't the only one who saw it, so I didn't have to alert anyone as cries of, "Oi, come back here," and "That boy just hit that little girl," started ringing out from the crowd. I rushed forward to see if the little girl was okay because she kept leaning up but then falling back, so I assumed that she'd fallen funny and was just injured in some way. I couldn't see her face because of the furry hood that she had over her head, but when I did, I realized the boy hadn't just punched her. There was blood all over her neck and chin, both from a wound to her neck and from where she was coughing up blood. She wasn't leaning up because she was trying to get up. She was wrenching upwards because she was trying to clear her airway of blood. All I could do was try and stem the bleeding, clasping my gloved hands over the side of her neck while someone else called the ambulance, but it was no good. She passed out before the paramedics arrived, and they were using shock paddles on the poor thing as they got her into the ambulance. It was so bad that almost no one had any hope that she would survive, and it came as no surprise when the bad news broke that she'd been declared dead on arrival at the hospital. The aftermath was just absolutely heartbreaking, and all the police... God, sometimes I just skip words. Skip to my loo. You can get mulled wine without alcohol these days? Interesting. What's the point? Is it just mulled grape juice? Moldy grapes? The aftermath was just absolutely heartbreaking, and although the police went hard in trying to catch the killer, knowing that they were kicking in doors to try and find a 12 or 13-year-old was terribly horrifying. And to think that someone that young was capable of something so hideously violent, and that they were actually hiding out like a bloody fugitive, it was just a nightmare. Anyone with a male child of that age who started acting funny thought that they might have been the ones harboring a wanted murderer. People got terribly paranoid, and as I said, it was a terrible, terrible time for all involved. We later heard that a young man was arrested, then the story faded to the background for a while until he was sentenced during the summer. A 13-year-old boy got a minimum of 13 years in prison for murder, meaning he'd spend as many years in prison as he'd been alive. Jesus. Meaning he'd spend as many years in prison as he'd been alive for by that time. I don't know why that sentence confuses me. Meaning he'd spend as many years in prison as he'd been alive for by that time. Okay. A 13-year-old boy got a minimum of 13 years in prison for murder, meaning he'd spend as many years in prison as he'd been alive by that time. The grim poetry of that really got to people, at least. The grim poetry of that really got to people, at least I know it got to me. It was morbidly poetic, and as much as people appreciated the long sentence for the justice it served, it was all just so tragic because none of it ever needed to happen in the first place. This year, out of respect for that poor girl and her family, the city council had decided to hold the light ceremony in the second of our town's 2 squares. I don't know how Mum is feeling about it, but I think I might skip this year's event, because I know I won't be able to keep my mind off the tragic events of the previous year and the look in that little girl's eyes when she realized that she was going to die. All right. Another sad one out the gate. Really setting the mood here, friends. Did anybody hear about that story, though? A girl getting stabbed in the neck? I guess in the UK or somewhere. Hey, Joel, pull my finger. Okay. It's like... Let's keep pulling it. Stop pulling it! Stop! Stop pulling it! No! Rachel Stevens, welcome back for 7 months. Joel, I'm excited and out of energy. Daughter, just over a year, just started walking a few days ago. It's been crazy and fun. My heart is so full. Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations, Rachel. That is wild. How fast time flies. I feel like I remember you talking about being pregnant, and I definitely remember you talking about moving in to a place with your now family, which is awesome. It's your birthday in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Oh shit. What are you gonna do? I'm a police dispatcher in the UK. I'm a hardened veteran to these true crime spooky stories. I bet you hear some crazy shit on the phone. That would be tough. Rachel with the 5 says, thank you so much for all your hard work with the streams and upload Sleplins. I think you meant, yeah, upload schedule. Probably. You the real MVP. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. Thank you. I do be out here grinding. Not uplands. The Sluplands. What's up, Doc? The Christmas after my son turned 4 years old was the first he seemed to actually understand. He knew what Christmas was, as in he was familiar with all the other symbolism behind it, but it wasn't until 4 that he really started to get it. I remember the day that he came home from preschool to ask me if some guy called Santa was really going to climb down our chimney to bring him presents. He didn't realize that we didn't have a chimney, so to keep up the pretense, I told him Santa had a magic key that let him climb through the windows of houses that didn't have chimneys. It was all the best I could come up with on the spot, but my son bought it, and seeing all this awe and wonder and excitement on his face made me happy in ways I didn't think possible. I didn't exactly have the best upbringing myself. Things like Christmases weren't exactly a priority, so it was really important to me that my son got to experience that magical spirit of Christmas. The closer it got to the day itself, the more and more excited my son got. He'd non-stop ask me questions about Santa, beg me to take him to meet him at the mall. He was just so caught up in the spirit of the season, it made me and his mom very happy indeed. We joked about how we dreaded the day that we'd have to tell him that Santa wasn't real, and how we should let that child endure... We joked about how we dreaded the day that we'd have to tell him that Santa wasn't real, and how we should let that childhood innocence endure for as long as possible. Little did we know, he'd lose that innocence way sooner than we figured, and in a way that was pretty terrifying, even for me. It was the night of Thursday, December 22nd, 2016. I remember that because the Thursday was our last day of work before the long holiday weekend, and we all busted our butts trying to get a dozen different orders shipped in time. Needless to say, I was exhausted by the time I got home, and both me and my wife headed to bed early so we could get a head start on all the holiday-related chores in the morning. I pretty much passed out as soon as my head hit the pillow, but then the next thing I know, I'm opening up my eyes to the sight of my son standing over me. The room's still dark, and he's asking me about Santa again. I had to roll over and ask him to repeat the question, hiding my irritation that he felt the need to come wake me up in the middle of the night, and that's when I heard him ask, "Does Santa ever come early sometimes?" I told him no, that he only ever visited on the night of Christmas Eve, but then my son tells me that he thought that Santa was visiting our neighbors because he could see someone on the roof. Immediately, that sets alarm bells off for me, so I climb out of bed, throw on a robe to keep the nighttime chill at bay, and then head into my son's bedroom to see what he was talking about. The moment I walked into his room, I see exactly what he was talking about. His bedroom window looked out over our backyard, which in turn led onto a rear neighbor's backyard. Too many spirits. What about the spirits? Are they here? Are they surrounding us? Spirited away. Remember that one story that I read about the guy who was scuba diving and all like the various gases that were down at the bottom of that lake or some shit was causing him to hallucinate and see his deceased father in the form of like a... It was interesting too because like the father was like telling him to, I don't know, like almost like telling him to go to the surface of the water because of the gases that he was seeing and stuff, which maybe could have been deadly or whatever, but just really, really weird. Does Santa carry an axe? His bedroom window looked out over our backyard, which in turn led out onto our rear neighbor's backyard. All the homes in our neighborhood had a two-tier roof system, with a smaller roof leading right up to where one of the bedrooms were. And across the way, someone was quite clearly standing on the smaller roof of our neighbor's place, sticking out like a Jesus Christ. Sticking out like a sore thumb against the backdrop of snow on the roof. They were very carefully making their way upwards towards one of the bedroom windows, a bedroom that I knew our neighbor's two little girls slept in. They moved in sometime after us, and I've watched them Dude, I keep like jumping ahead of myself with my words. It's so fucking annoying. I feel like I'd be able to maintain reading forever if my like brain wasn't faster than my mouth, you know what I mean? They moved in sometime after us, and I'd watched them re-wallpaper from beige to lilac before putting up a bunch of boy band posters. I had never actually talked to the family, I just put two and two together, so when it looked like the guy was slowly plodding his way up gently sloping... plopping his way up gently... What is this sentence? Plopping his way up gently sloping roof to their... Maybe up... So when it looked like the guy was slowly plopping his way up the gently sloping roof to their bedroom, I knew I had to do something. I ran back into my bedroom, told my wife to call the cops, then grabbed the Ruger 22 that I used to hunt rabbits with from time to time out of the closet. As I took it out of its case and loaded her up, I told my wife exactly what was happening, along with where she needed to send the cops. After that, I threw on my boots and ran out into the backyard wearing nothing but a bathroom. Plopping. I was doing a bit of plopping. Joel needs to dress up as Santa and let us all sit on his lap this year. What do you think? What do you think, guys? Everyone's like, yeah! Yeah! Put a fucking costume on him and sit on him. No! It's like 500 people grab me.
Put the costume on.
Like, just like, ah! Ah! Now sit. Sit in the throne while we all ask for presents. We do a little plopping. I saw Daddy shooting Santa Claus. After that, I threw on my boots and ran out. Fuck me, man. After that, I threw on my boots and ran out into the backyard wearing nothing but a bathrobe and boots to confront the guy on the neighbor's roof. First thing I did was call out to him, loud and aggressive, asking him what he thought he was doing. The guy froze as soon as I called out, turned a little to face me, then just turned back again to keep on going up the roof. I called out again. I told him the cops were on their way, and that there was going to be trouble if he didn't get to explaining himself real quick. He didn't even turn back that time. He just kept on plopping off that roof towards the little girl's window. Alright, it says plotting, but I'm just gonna say plopping, because plopping's funny. Plippity plop, plippity plop, I'm propping up the roof. Plotting is the word, I get it. But in my mind, this motherfucker's plopping. Because he's evil. And evil people plop. He didn't even turn back that time. He just kept on plopping up the roof towards the little girl's window. I figured a warning shot in the air might deter him, just to let him know that I was serious, and to wake the neighbors to let them know something was happening. If I got cited for it later, so be it, but at the time, I didn't have the luxury of being able to fret about bylaws and HOA regulations. So I aimed my .22 into the air and let off 2 rounds to try and keep his attention. He was crouching by the girl's bedroom window by this point, and after I fired off the two shots, he's doing the worm. Plop me. He was crouching by the girl's bedroom window by this point, and after, God, I say after and duh. What the wrong? God damn it. He was crouching by the girl's bedroom window by this point, and after I fired off the 2 shots, he stopped and looked down at me for a few seconds with this wild-eyed look. It's wild and wild-eyed. Good God. Good fucking God, man. Plop on my lap. Don't you dare. Stay away from my lap. Stay away! Stay away! The comments could be a 3-6 Mafia verse. We gotta stay plop, 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 plop. He was crouching by the girl's bedroom window by this point, and after I fired off the 2 shots, he stopped and looked down at me for a few seconds with this wild-eyed... Oh, fuck me. He stopped and looked down at me for a few seconds with this wild, wide-eyed look on his face. That was the only thing that really slowed him. But although I told him the next 2 would be aimed at him, he just carried on what he was doing, and suddenly started wailing on the girl's window, trying to break the glass so he could unlock it. The moment he slammed his fist into the glass, you could hear the 2 girls inside beginning to scream, and I kept waiting for one of the girls' parents to run into the bedroom to put a gun on the guy too. But he kept punching the glass, this thick, double glazing too, so it wasn't budging easily, and the girls kept screaming and screaming. I didn't want to have to shoot the guy. I kept waiting for the situation to just resolve itself somehow, but then the moment the girls' window smashed, I heard their cries even louder, and I knew I had no choice. I didn't want to shoot the guy. In my mind, the guy was just going to surrender and stop what he was doing the moment that he saw me pointing a gun at him, And that's how it always happens in movies, right? The good guy says freeze, the bad guy puts his hands up, and then the cops show up, take him to jail, then the good guy rides off into the sunset. Only this guy didn't seem to care that he had a gun drawn on him. All he seemed to care about was smashing his way into those little girls' bedroom. Into those little girl... Into those little girl... I don't know why that sounds weird. Slob on the plop, like corn on the cob. Plop the like button and plop on down to the sub button too when you get a chance. Thank you. All he seemed to care about was smashing his way into those little girls' bedroom so he could do God knows what with them. He seemed like he knew he was going to get caught. Fuck me. He seemed like he knew he was going to get caught. He probably knew that he was going to get shot breaking into houses in a state with gun laws like ours. He just didn't seem to care. All that was important to him was getting to those girls, and that's what was really terrifying me about this whole thing, even all these years later. He was going to make me carry his water, as my grandpa used to say. He was going to put the burden of taking a life on me, and for that, I'll always hate the guy. But thankfully, it didn't have to come to that. I was too focused on aiming down the sights to notice someone entering the girl's bedroom, but I'm sure that... What's he talking about? I don't think a 22 would kill anybody, would it? Unless you hit them in the head from like point blank. Because assassins use 22 guns because the bullet bounces around in their skull or something like that. Don't do that, by the way. But if you had a rifle and you're shooting a 22, I mean, that shit might kill a fucking squirrel. Also, why would you wouldn't want to shoot at the guy whenever the fucking little girl's bedroom and their house, and who knows where else those bullets could fly off to if you miss. I don't know. But I know for a fact that even if you hit him, it would just like, it would annoy him a lot, yeah. It might not even knock him down, to be honest with you. Shooting Santa in the ass. That might hurt, yeah. That might deter him. But it would probably feel like a bee sting. Honestly, if he shot him in the back of the head, I'm fairly certain that like some ballistics with a 22 would probably not even break the skull. And I remember like hearing that like it like drags up the skull and then over top the head or something weird like that. Did you ever hear about that? I don't know. Or like embeds itself in the skull. I don't know. Anyways, what I did, 22 can be pretty deadly. Maybe. I feel like at a certain range it wouldn't. Shoot Santa in his grotto. Right in the grotto. Aim for his fucking grotto. 10, 22, you can roll off 25 real quick and it would kill Ebbs. When you say roll off 25, do you mean like 25 shots? Because I don't think this guy's like, if that's what you mean, I don't think this guy was like planning on unleashing like machine gun fire. Oh, 25 is the low powered RD. Oh. I don't know. So according to 22, most people die from 22 than other caliber. Oh, okay, maybe I'm just full of shit. I'm being schmeducated, thank you. I don't know. 17. Yeah, I don't know. No, yeah, I appreciate the knowledge on the guns. I just, for some reason, yeah, I guess I'll just stop talking because I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I was too focused on aiming down the sights to notice someone entering the girl's bedroom, but I sure as heck noticed the 2 shots that rang out as the homeowner put 2 bullets into the guy trying to get into his little girl's room. The guy had stayed quiet the whole time, not a single peep as I called out or threatened to shoot him, but our neighbor's bullets hit him. He started squealing like a stuck pig, and I mean squealing. The noises he made that night made it sound like he wasn't even human, which, in my estimation, he wasn't. Or at least, there's something lacking in him that made him less human than most. The bullet must have only caused a superficial wound because he just kept rolling back and forth on the roof and screaming until the cops finally showed up. The officers were able to climb up and put the guy in cuffs and render a little first aid for his gunshot wound, but they had to get the fire department out with a winch to get the guy's, what the fuck? The officers were able to climb up to put the guy in cuffs and render a little first aid for his gunshot wound, but they had to get the fire department out with a winch to get the guy off the roof without hurting him any more than he already was. The emergency vehicles were there till dawn, and my son didn't sleep a wink until all the big trucks were gone from the neighborhood. And if you think he asked a whole bunch of questions about Santa, you should have seen how many questions he asked about that whole incident. He still enjoyed Christmas that year, as all of his presents were a great way of taking his mind off of what had just happened. He still didn't 100% understand what happened, he just knew that it was bad. My wife had managed to protect him from seeing the shooting, but he still heard the screams. I think just about the whole Oops. My wife had managed to protect him from seeing the shooting, but he still heard the screams. To be honest, I think just about the whole neighborhood did. The guy must have been in quite a bit of pain to make the sounds that he did, but I can't say he didn't deserve it. What's up, Dawn? Sorry, I didn't mean to start a gun debate in chat or anything like that. And I appreciate it if you guys don't argue with each other. It makes things more fun if you're nice to one another. Okay. Story 4. I'll probably start with that one, honestly. I feel like that one was like not a sad story, you know? He was shot in his candy cane. Dude, I'm not a huge fan of candy canes, though I do like the ones that have, like, really random flavors to them. But the one annoying thing was, like, as a kid, I could never get, like, all of the plastic off of a candy cane. I feel like, you sit there and suck it till it turns into a shiv, but still, there's, like, a part near the head of, like, the curved area of the candy cane that, like, still always has, like, a piece of plastic that ends up, like, breaking or is already broke, or you just can't get it off, and then you end up breaking it anyways. You love the Skittles flavored candy canes? Yeah, that sounds fucking good. You hate the blue ones? Oh, dude, I was thinking about the blue ones. I like blue flavored shit. I mean, I like all flavored stuff. Maybe not so much banana flavor, because banana flavor doesn't even taste like actual bananas. It's just like some weird made up thing. Yeah, candy canes and fucking candy corn are like two of my least favorite high fructose corn syrup thingies. I wonder if they make edible glue. You know what I mean? Like, so you can make a gingerbread house and then be able to just eat it like a giant fucking titan without having to worry about any toxic chemicals. Banana Laffy Taffy, though. Well, I mean, if I hadn't eaten for over 30 minutes, maybe. I was starving. Christmas Eve of 1998. Me and my older brother were driving back from Washington Island to our hometown of Madison, Wisconsin. We were both working on a lavender farm up there at the time. Not the most well-paying or exciting of jobs, but work is work when you have as few options as we did. It was a 5-hour drive on a good day. Actually, I'm going to restart that last paragraph because I felt like my voice cracked. I felt like I had a bit of a crack. It's called royal icing. Okay. I'm going to look that up. And then I'm going to put it on my grocery list. You heard me? Hey, Dark Emperor with a 5 says, is your Reddit the only place to submit stories? I've tried 5 times, but I don't have karma, so it's never... Oh, I'm sorry, my friend. I will check it out eventually, but you can also send it to email, too. Let's read submissions@gmail.com. That should be... Is that... Well, that's in most of the video descriptions, I believe, but... Oh, shit. Dude, I'm so fucking sore. Ugh, and not even because I was with your mom, but like... I'm fucking beat up, bro. I'm used goods. Also, I'm running out of throat spray. You never had candy corn? Oh shit. I throwing stuff. Yeah, I'm fucking pissed. I did think it would be sick if I had like a punching bag right here. I'd be like, whenever I get real mad. When I get real pissed.
Mischievous dog.
Jeanette and Teen, welcome back for 4 months. Says, please say birthday girl, Joel. Everyone say hello to the birthday girl. And happy birthday, too. Thank you, Jeanette. Good to see you. We were both working on a lavender farm up there at the time. Not the most well-paying or exciting of jobs, but work is work when you have as few options as we did. It was a 5-hour drive on a good day, but around the holidays, with bad weather and worse traffic, you could expect to be trapped in your car for upwards of 8 hours. In light of that, me and my brother always came to an agreement before we departed. One of us would drive, while the other would get so wasted in the back seat that they could sleep almost the whole way. Wait, wasted? Oh, okay. I was like, wasted? It's 8 hours, but you gotta get wasted? Also, I feel like if I got fucking, like, wasted, I would fucking... I don't know. I would throw up probably in the back of the car. One of us would drive, while the other would get so wasted in the back seat that they could sleep almost the whole way. Last time had been my turn to cozy up with a 12-pack of Blue Ribbon, so that time it was my turn to drive. We had a pretty good system laid out. You could always assuage the irritation of the long drive by looking forward to the time when you could be the one in the back seat, blackout drunk while butchering Bing Crosby lyrics and all that sort of thing. However, the one was a huge flaw. The one was a huge flaw. However, the one was a huge flaw. P-stops. They'd start out sparingly, but at its peak, my brother would be demanding that I pull over almost every 30 minutes or so. We became intimately familiar with almost every gas station and truck stop along the whole The WI-57, would you call that the Wisconsin 57? Do a Ryan Reynolds impression? Uh-oh? Ryan Reynolds? Ooh, I don't know about that chap. I don't fucking know what Ryan Reynolds sounds like. I just feel like he's always sort of like a, just a sarcastic asshole a little bit. Ooh, didn't expect that, did ya? Yeah. Yowzer. I'm a little chipmunk. See, there's Ryan Reynolds for you. Oh wait, I was supposed to look up how to say the... I just don't want to... Is it the WI-57? Sorry. I didn't know if anybody answered that yet. Oh yeah, the whisk. The Wiz 57. I sound like his character in Just Friends. That was good? Okay, good. I'm glad. I kind of just made that up in my head. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna hurt. I'm a chipmunk. He's just a chipmunk on a tree outside watching people slip on like ice. Ooh. Shouldn't have left that banana there, should I? Why does he have a banana? I don't know. Try to be a sardonic antagonist. As Ryan Reynolds? Oh, you're gonna like me when I'm pissed. Oh, you're gonna like me when I take my clothes off. Ha. Yeah, I bet. Maybe we take shots. How about shots? I got it. How about a few shots? Just me and you. I don't fucking even know what I'm saying. Wait, okay. They have stop for pee breaks on the Wiz 57. Oh, dude, that would be funny. That would be funny, but I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't know if that would be confusing to people. Whatever. I guess if I get things wrong, more people comment in the video and then it helps the algorithm. I don't know. We'll do that. We became intimately familiar with almost every gas station and truck stop along the whole of Seth Rogen. Wait. Wait. I don't even know. You don't even know, dude. No, I can't. I have no fun. I can hear his voice in my head, but I fucking suck at it. Yeah, because you don't even know. You wouldn't even believe it. No, it's fucking terrible. I don't even want to do it. It's so bad. Jaeger bombs. The Wiz nobody knows. Nobody's from Wisconsin? Whatever, I'm going to call it the Wiz 57. We became intimately familiar with almost every gas station and truck stop along the whole of the 57, and it was during one of these routine pee stops that our story really begins. So we pull into a fairly small truck stop, head inside to use the bathroom and grab some road food, then we head back out towards the car. It was late afternoon, pretty damp out, just miserable Wisconsin winter weather, and then out of nowhere, some guy on a superbike just tears right past us, deafeningly close, which has my drunk brother whooping and hollering like he's watching the Indy 500 or something. He thought it was the best thing that he'd seen all day, and in all fairness, it was pretty awesome. Sure, the guy had been going 100 miles an hour, but it was the holidays, on a fairly quiet stretch of highway. Not the kind of thing you'd catch me doing, but different strokes, I guess. Anyways, we get back on the road, and I swear to God, we hadn't even gone 5 minutes when I spotted something lying at the side of the road. It was just blocking the road enough that I would have had to slow down anyways, and as I got closer, I realized what I was looking at. It was the bike that we'd just seen zooming past us 5 minutes previous, and just on the other side of it was this long stain on the road. It started off all dark, but the further it got, the redder it got. And right at the end of it, what was... Jesus. A lot of death tonight. Herbert. Chris, get that sweet ass. Shouldn't drive your bike so fast, Chris. Now, you stupid asshole. Christopher, you stupid son of a bitch. The Plop 57. Your mom's from Wisconsin? I bet she is. No, I'm just kidding. You should ask her. How do you say it? Like, how would you pronounce WI 57? Or do you just call it the 57? What's up, Jasmine? And there's Lila. What's going on, Lila? I actually kind of want to hear Seth Rogen's voice. It's kind of hard to replicate because it's just simply his, you know what I mean? Seth Rogen laugh. It's the laugh that everyone gets. To enrich the lives of the Canadian... No, I can't do it. To enrich the lives of the Canadian people. No, that's fucking not good. I didn't answer your question, Carrie. What'd you ask? I didn't even see it. I'm a wee bit distracted. Sometimes the chat doesn't show every message. I don't know why. I have to set it to live chat. Get that sweet ass back here right now. You stupid bastard. You sweet, dumb fucking bastard. I sound like Rogan naturally. Yeah, I sound like Rogan normally. This is just kind of like how he talks. Yeah, I guess. Sort of just like what he like might kind of sound like with his beard. You know, he's got like a beard because he's like directing a show or something. Dude, Dave Chappelle is Prince. Yeah, what is it? Game, set, blouses. What is he? Pancakes. Something about pancakes. Can we get a TMNT interaction? Oh, like one turtle talking to the other turtle? Sling Blade Rogan. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Sound like Beetlejuice. That's what everybody says. Just sound like, yeah, Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? Hell yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. But guess I better be going. I don't fucking know. I guess you just gotta play to your strengths. I'm fucking Beetlejuice 24/7, baby. You want some grapes? Hey Joe, you want some grapes? Blouses. Oh yeah. Computer blue. Computer blue. Oh god. Charlie Murphy, man. Rest in peace, my dude. Beavis juice.
Beavis, what the hell?
Alright, enough. I'm like a fucking discount. I don't even know. Discount Mickey Mouse at this point. It started off all dark, but the further it got, the redder it got. And right at the end of it was what used to be. The biker. What remained of the guy didn't even have a shape anymore. He was all bloodied and broken and torn up, just this lump of something that used to be a person. Seeing that was the Seeing that was... Here's a jelly bean. Want a jelly bean? Thank you, Lynn. Yeah, you want a jelly bean? Jelly beans do sound good. Beetlejuice World. Hell yeah, dude. Seeing that was the single most heart-stoppingly horrifying moment of my whole life, and I can barely even explain what it did to me. It was like knowing people could end up looking like that made the world a little uglier, and the fact life could end so suddenly made it more frightening too. My brother, the idiot that he is, kept insisting that the biker might still be alive, and no matter how much I tried to stop him, he ended up shoving his way past me. He lumbered along the red streak up to where the body was, took one look at the guy, then ran over to the side of the road to puke up 8 or 9 cans worth of what he was drinking. And by the time he'd gotten himself together, I had already switched on my blinkers, and thankfully, another car showed up pretty quickly. We stayed up while the other driver drove to the truck stop that we'd been at to call the cops, and I think it was maybe only 45 minutes from the time we first saw the bike to when the first cop car showed up on scene. It definitely slowed us down some, but I couldn't just leave the guy there for someone else to find. One of my first thoughts after finding him had been wondering if he'd been rushing back to family rather than just taking his bike out for a spin. No doubt he had family, or at least friends or something, and for them to get news like that so close to the holidays, I can't even imagine what they must have went through. The remainder of the drive was considerably less jolly, and I worked hard to catch up with my brother's level in time. Oops. Joel equals Joe's other existence alive.
Hey, Peter. Hey, Peter. Did you ever listen to Let's Read?
I love Let's Read. I fall asleep to him every night, and I jerk off to his silky voice. Fuck. The remainder of the drive was considerably less jolly, and I worked hard to catch up with my brother's level of intoxication once we arrived at our parents' place. It definitely made me appreciate the gift of family a lot more that year, and my dad brought it up while saying grace that it hit so hard I got a lump in my throat. To this day, I don't know what exactly happened to make that guy crash, but I do know... To this day, I don't know what exactly happened to make that guy crash, but I do know that drive safe became something I tell people when parting ways. I figure it just helps to remind people sometimes so they don't end up lying on the side of the road, barely looking human anymore. What you smoking, my boy? I don't know, I think my basement is just riddled with some type of gas leak. Okay. Guys, question. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I'd say Die Hard's definitely a Christmas movie. Same with Gremlins. Gremlins is for sure a Christmas movie. Also, I kind of want to watch the Muppets Christmas, musical movie. I just want to watch anything Muppets. I don't know. Muppets shit is just funny to me. Peak comedy. It sounds more like Rick from Rick and Morty. Morty. Blech. Morty, we gotta go, Morty. I'm so fucking fucked up, Morty. God, Morty. I don't know, Rick. Why are you so fucked up? That one's kind of bad. they're all bad. Whatever. Who fucking cares? Back in the day, I was on a call for the burn unit on Christmas Day. Life Flight brought in a guy who tried to deep fry a frozen turkey, with the only safety precaution being that he did it on his back porch. All he managed to do was turn himself and his whole setup into one big fireball, and the only parts of his body that weren't burned were his butt cheeks, which were pressed against the ground after falling back during it. So, 98% TBSA full thickness burn. The guy looked completely charred and blacked. The guy looked completely charred and hair burn off and everything, and there were patches where his clothes had completely melted into his skin. It sounds crazy. I'd never actually seen it burn that bad at the time, and it actually looked kind of fake when I first saw the guy. He looked like an extra in a disaster movie or something, and the only thing that made it real for me was the smell. He literally smelled like a mix of burned bacon and plastic, and the fact that he wasn't moving or making any noise just made him seem like even more of a prop. That all changed when he woke up screaming, but he still didn't sound human. I helped treat him for my whole shift, and the only word I heard him say was pain, 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 until we pumped him full of drugs to knock him out again. And at the risk of sounding dramatic, I've seen some horrific things in my time, but the sight, sound, and smell of that guy still haunt me way more than anything else. The misery, the agony, the horror of what he went through, all over something so completely moronic. We did everything we could to keep him alive, but it was clear from the get-go that his chances were in the single-digit percentage range. He passed just before dawn on December 26th. Amazing he lasted that long, really. It was mostly just heavy pain management towards the end, then his organs finally gave out, and that was that. I really felt for his family, losing someone so horribly at what's supposed to be such a happy time of the year. I know if it was my father or husband or brother, Christmas just wouldn't be the same for a long time after, and I hope they've managed to find peace all this time later. Friday after next, yeah, that's a good one. I'm a pimp.
Oh, shit.
The guy gets covered in toxic waste near the end of RoboCop. Yeah, RoboCop's a fucking violent motherfucking movie. Holy shit. The Dark Crystal terrified you? Yeah, I feel like any of those, when you're young, there's just like random shit that just is scary. Many, many years ago now, I was riding along with my dad, who was a trucker. It was Christmas break, and sometime while driving through the night, he shouts, "Oh no," over and over again. I was laying in the truck cabin bed playing on my PlayStation on the little TV, so I was really confused, hoping we didn't hit anything. My heart sank when he told me to put my shoes on and that we gotta help. Then he told me to call 911. Next thing, my dad pulls over and I see it behind our tractor trailer. A speeding car was going too fast and had rolled multiple times down a steep embankment. We went to see if we could do anything while we waited for ER. We went to see if we could do anything while we waited for... We went to see if we could do anything. God damn it, I don't know what the fuck. We went to see if we could do anything while we waited for EMS to arrive, and it was one of the worst things I'd ever seen in my life. It turned out to be a family of 4, but you couldn't immediately tell how old they were or what they looked like. They were all just crumpled, bloody messes, slumped upside down in all kinds of unnatural-looking positions. Once ambulances came, we left. They arrived pretty quickly, and though I can't say for certain, I was pretty sure the whole family had passed.
Kinda messed me up a bit. I'd never seen a body in that state or a dead body outside of a funeral. Even to this day, 20 plus years later, I still think about what I had seen, even after going into the medical field and witnessing worse. They could have been headed to visit family, looking forward to some wholesome reunion or something, and instead, they ended up all messed up at the side of the road, here 1 second, and gone the next. Jesus Christ, it's all just fucking crash stories and death stories. I don't know, I just feel like... Bleh. Why no answer, Carrie? I'm in the middle of reading stories, but what are you saying? I don't know what your question is. You just have a Christmas tree burning, and that's all I see is just Christmas tree burning. Unless you're typing something that's like, I don't know, like YouTube is blocking or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see anything up as I scroll up, my dude. The Skeksis. Yes, the Skeksis. Remember, it like made all those weird noises. You've been practicing your unnat. Oh man. Yeah, the Leprechaun movies definitely freaked me out when I was little. That and Chucky, and just like, I remember like Tales from the Hood really fucked me up because there was like an episode where like these little dolls ate this guy alive, and I don't know why. You just like saw, it was like claymation or some shit, watching them just like gnawing into his skin and stuff, and it's terrifying. I'm Skeksy and I know it. Tales from the Hood, yeah, that's a good one. I think they made a sequel, but I can't quite remember. A few years ago, I went to visit an old friend for Christmas. Happenstance had it that we were both alone around the holidays, so instead of spending it alone like a couple of old spinsters, we decided to have a very drunk Christmas, just the two of us. So after a Christmas dinner of fried chicken and waffles, and a lot of wine, we both hit the hay with plans to nurse our hangovers all day the next day. Being the good friend that she was, she let me take her big double bed while she took the smaller, lumpier single one in her spare bedroom. Then, in the middle of the night, I found myself waking up with a distinct feeling that there was someone in the room with me. I don't know if I'd heard the door creak or a footstep on the carpet, but I rolled over in bed, then sat up to look at the door. I was expecting to see my friend, and although I only caught a glimpse of the face in the doorway thanks to how dark it was, I saw enough to know that it definitely wasn't my friend. Out of pure instinct, I cried out something like, "Who are you?" I was startled but not frightened, and I assumed that it was all just some kind of innocent mistake that some male stranger was just lurking there in the dark hallway. But that was all just wishful thinking, I guess. And as the man burst into the room and attempted to restrain me, I began to scream. But then suddenly, as the man was pulling me out of bed and forcing me to the ground, he seemed to experience this sudden realization. He'd obviously assumed that since I was sleeping in my friend's bed, that I was her. And when the penny dropped, he started demanding to know where she was. I was in no fit to answer him, though. All I did was scream and cry and beg him not to hurt me. And the next thing I remember was the room's light flicking on. I opened my eyes to see my friend standing in the doorway, gun in her hand, and she's pointing it at the stranger while screaming, "Get off of her, Todd! Get off of her now!" 1,000 different thoughts go rushing through my head, and I guess it was just more wishful thinking, but I figured if my friend actually knew this guy, then things would be okay. I know how dumb that sounds in retrospect, but I was exhausted, still kinda drunk and more terrified than I'd ever been in my whole life. All I wanted was for this living nightmare to end, but the reality was, we had quite a way to go first. The creep, whose name was apparently Todd, started telling my friend that she didn't have the guts to shoot him, but she just kept saying, "Try me." Todd then told my friend that if she didn't put the gun down, he'd hurt me, which caused my friend to start screaming, "Don't you dare!" And the whole time I was just frozen with fear. I'd never experienced anything so terrifying in my life. I couldn't see any way out of the situation that didn't get me hurt or killed in some way, either by Todd's hand or my friend's straight bullets. I begged them both to resolve the situation. More blubbers and begs than anything coherent, at least up until Todd clamped a hand over my mouth and repeated his accusation. It was obvious that the pair had some kind of history, and that's what gave me the most hope that things would end peacefully. But then, almost out of nowhere, Todd let go of me, jumped up to his feet, and rushed my friend. I heard 2 deafening shots, and at first, I thought my friend had totally missed because Todd just fell into her and took her down in the hallway. It was only when he easily struggled out from under him. It was only... Hey, Pastella 202 with the 20 Canadian dollarinos. Wishing you a happy holidays, Jay. Thank you, Pastella. Right back at you. Appreciate you. Thank you for the 20. Did we find out what Carrie's question was? I'm sorry, Carrie. I don't know if you were talking to somebody else or not. I don't know. No answer? Oh, well. I don't know. Are you trolling? Carrie, you gotta be trolling me. You know I answer every question. I answer every question. Everyone. I'm the question guy. A question gets asked. It goes in my head. It gets computed. It doesn't matter whether I'm right or wrong. I shit something out. Am I taking Pradeep for Santa pictures? He would claw the fuck out of Santa. I imagine I would feel bad for that poor Saint Nicolaus. Oh, Carrie's wondering if I was putting up the holiday screen. Oh, okay. Yeah, it didn't. That question didn't show up. I don't know why. Probably not. I need to update it, to be honest with you, with a new one. I don't even know if I still have the old file that runs there, because sometimes I clear out my OBS or reset my OBS settings whenever I put like a new screen on. But I might have to ask Robin to make me a new one. Maybe I'd like to. It'd be a good one to have, I think. Does anybody pay you to do Cameo, but with your voice? You know, I never signed up for Cameo. I've heard people say it's pretty cool. Is it like a pain in the ass, though? Do I have to like go on and on and on forever, or is it just like kind of short little things? It was only when he easily struggled out. She, right? He struggled out for, yeah. It was only when she easily struggled out from under him and he started to groan that I realized she'd actually hit him. My ears were still ringing, and I was still frozen with fear at that point. It was all just too much for me. But when my friend barked at me to get up and follow her, I did just that, adrenaline and all. I'd stepped over Todd's body to do so, and the whole thing I thought that he was going... I was still frozen with fear. Wait, no. I stepped over Todd's body to do so, and the whole thing I thought he was... What does that mean, and the whole thing? Joel's cameo would be 45 seconds of him twerking, yeah. Twerking ASMR sounds. Yeah, maybe I should set one up. Morgan Freeman who? Exactly. This Let's Read fellow is someone personally look up to at times. His voice is absolutely delectable. I feel like that's not really Morgan Freeman. But whatever. He was just in my room, briefly. Have I been resting well? Yeah, I think so. I usually get my 13 hours. Jennifer, good to see you. First time. Welcome, welcome. I am recording stories that will be editing and getting up on YouTube for tomorrow. I had stepped over Todd's body to do so, and I thought that he was going to reach up and grab my ankle like it was some dumb horror movie or something, but that didn't happen. He just laid there groaning, begging us to call 911. My friend did so, but her priority was telling the cops that she was about to kill a man if he got up and started attacking her again. The EMTs showing up in a timely fashion was just pure luck on Todd's part, and he ended up surviving his injuries, and my friend avoided both criminal and civil cases in the year or so that followed, but the story of how he came to be there, bleeding on her bedroom floor, is a long and convoluted one, and I'll try to keep it as condensed as possible, but here goes. My friend was a divorcee. Wait, divorcee or divorcee? A divorcee. You see, darling, I am a divorcee. It's an incredible power. It essentially means that you don't have anyone to worry. Divorcee, okay. Maybe in French? Oh yeah, French is divorcee. Divorcee. Yeah, $100 for Scooby-Doo, that'd be sick. Please set up a cameo before I cark it. I'd pay it, play it at my memorial. You are not dying, Terry. You're not allowed. My friend was a divorcee, and around 18 months before that Christmas night, she'd met this charming bachelor named Todd. Obviously, she didn't realize what a monster he was at the time, but as the months went on, their relationship got worse and worse. My friend says it was like a frog in a pot of boiling water. Dropping it at boiling point, the frog tries to jump right back out, but lower the frog in when the water is tepid, But lower the frog in when the water is tepid, then heat it up real slow so it barely notices, and by the time it's at boiling point, it's too late to do anything about it. The wholesome... God fucking damn it, I'm just like somewhere else right now. The whole reason she was alone that Christmas was because she'd split up with Todd and was trying to move on. But Todd wasn't willing to, and the prospect of spending Christmas without the woman he'd once controlled was obviously too much for him. And that's how he ended up breaking in during the middle of the night, and by some miracle, it was me in her bed, instead of her. Sure, what happened sucked really, really bad, and I wish it never had happened, but like I said, it was kind of a miracle that I'd been there that night. If Todd had the chance to get the drop on her like that, if she'd have been able to... Oh, wait. Sounded like Omegon when you talked in that accent. Alright, let me look up Omegon. Omegon. Wait. Headcanon Prime... Oh, from... Brother. From the 40K series. Listen to me, brother. Together, we will fight for, the Emperor. That's right. The Emperor. He demands our allegiance. We must fight for him. And destroy the heretics. Eat their asses. And shoot them in the head with 50 caliber pistols. 50 caliber pistols. 50 caliber pistols. There's a little bit of kick.
Hey, what ambience are you using? It's a custom song that I had the guy who does my remastering of the audio for the podcast, Inect, I-N-E-K-T, or Simon. Inect sounds, I guess, more badass, but yeah, he's a really good, just a really good musician in so many different ways, and audio engineer and stuff, and he pay him to do some cool shit. Oh, it's a Transformer character? Oh, maybe I got it wrong. Sorry. The dingo ate your baby. It's finally gonna show where I live, Joel. What do you mean? You like your license, or the donation's gonna show you're in Canada or something? What I like about office Christmas parties is looking for a job the next day. Phyllis Diller. What the hell? You have great voice acting. Oh, thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. The podcast. Am I saying it wrong? How do you say it? Podcast? He does different audio for my podcast.
Read the stories in that voice. Sure. What happened sucked really, really hard, and I wish it never had happened. But like I said, it was kind of a miracle that I'd been there that night. If Todd had the chance to get the drop on her like that, if she hadn't been able to get to her gun, God knows what kind of awful things would have happened that night. I guess that makes me sound like bait in a way, as that's basically what I was that night, but she had no way of knowing he'd actually try and hurt her like that.
I said poodcast? The poopcast. Oh, that'd be good. Like a bunch of plumbers start a poopcast and they talk about, the plopcast. Or like a bunch of scat fetishists. Hey guys, welcome back to the poopcast. Oh my god, I love shit. I don't know. What's wrong with people, man? I don't know if I can get it. Okay, where was I? This is the Christmas miracle. It was the Christmas miracle, Harry. They do it straight in a septic tank. That'd be great. And they just have like, it has like a metallic echo. And they light a match and it just explodes. Sure. What happened sucked really, really hard, and I wish it never had to happen, but like I said, it was kind of a Christmas miracle that I'd been there that night. If Todd had the chance to get the drop on her like that, if she hadn't been able to get to her gun, God knows what kind of awful things would have happened that night. I guess that makes me sound like bait in a way, as that's basically what I was that night. But she had no way of knowing he'd actually try and hurt her like that. He was a psycho, Ooh, Christopher Walken. Ooh, today on the Poopcast, we're talking about shit and poop. Basically, being bada boom. You poop in a bowl, and it swirls. It goes down into the when you flush it. But once in a while, if you're a bit of a freak like me, you smear it all over your face. It's like an aphrodisiac of sorts. Your dad's watch. That'd be, if my dad listened to this, holy shit, he'd be like, what the fuck is he talking about? He was a psycho, and an aggressive one at that, but
I guess sometimes you don't know if someone has the capacity to kill or not until it's far too late to do anything about it. Both of our situations have improved dramatically, but we still talk about it every day. And at some point in the future, we plan to hold a joint Christmas together with all of our families in tow. Things are looking much brighter, but we'll never forget the night when, by some miracle of happenstance, we ended up saving each other's lives. Your roommate heard this. Christopher Walken. Poop, pee. Ooh wee, poop and pee. Is that for me? I hope. As that's what I'm into lately. I'm getting older. Gotta switch it up. You know what? I kept this watch in my ass for 6 months. It was lodged up there. Honestly, I would honestly say that Christopher Walking Eagle, Christopher walking it off. The best acting I'd ever seen him do was in Pulp Fiction, I think, personally. I think he's great in general and awesome, but just his like monologue in Pulp Fiction was just like so fucking like like you just felt like you were in a trance listening to him. And I don't know if it was because it was like slowly zooming in, you know what I mean, as it did it, and it was silent. But like there can be things about his voice, I feel like, in some of his acting stuff where, you know, he plays into it and stuff, but it can be kind of distracting. But there was something about like the way he presented himself in Pulp Fiction that was just so, I don't know, mesmerizing. Okay. I know you guys would want me to talk about poop and pee all day, but that's what Cameo's for. That's gonna be my first cameo. Alright, what the fuck? Me. More cowbell, please. Quentin Tarantino was floored that he came into the whole scene fully memorized and realized all for one day of work. Was floored that he came in with the whole scene fully memorized and realized all for one day of work. So, okay, so he just like had it figured out and just came in, fucking banged it out. It was like, all right, Quentin, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. I do actually have the watch. It's up my butt. Kind of like it. Joel, sometimes they use their stories as background noise, and I finally realized I missed a huge chunk of the story, so I gotta rewind. That's fair. I remember people used to say that a lot when I use like gameplay footage. They'd be distracted by like the game or the dialogue in the game. Well, not dialogue, but like the text dialogue. How far are we in? I've been having a shitty day, finally able to wind down. Welcome, General Grievous. General Grievous. Ugh. Does General Grievous have a good backstory? I feel like I never really understood what his deal was. What his deal was. Wasn't he essentially just like eyeballs, a brain, and a heart, and that's like all that really existed of him or something? It was only Quentin's second movie, and he said it was weird to hear his words taken so seriously. Oh, yeah, well, he definitely delivered it, even though, like, you know, the story itself was slightly comedic. It was delivered absolutely. Like, I mean, if a Korean War veteran told me that story, even if it was about, you know, him having something up his butt for months to bring it home for his best friend, he definitely sold that fucking part perfectly. You loathe gameplay footage? I guess it depends on the context. I mean, I guess in this scenario it would not be good. Or, I mean, I don't know if it would be good or not. But I did like using it just as something in the background. Yeah, General Grievous's backstory. He bought an established title and fucking exploded. He stepped in one of my trip mines on my 4x4. Grievous, or however you spell his name, belonged to a clan called the Kalish. I'm pretty sure the Jedi killed a lot of them, so he hated the Jedi and ended up on the dark side. Oh my god. That's freaking awesome, dude. Freaking love Star Wars. Someone threw an egg at your house, Megan? Throw one back. Many years ago, when my now 28-year-old daughter was still an infant, myself, her, and our dog were at the apartment that we were living in at the time. It was Christmas Eve. My wife was at work at a nursing job, and she wasn't due home until the early hours of the morning. I was sitting on the couch watching television, and my daughter was asleep on a blanket pallet on the floor. Weebtoon with the 2 says, I'm broke, so send cheese. Government cheese, please. But no worries, Weebtoon. Good to see you. Either way, appreciate you being here, and thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. You're gonna deal with it thanks to the streams. That's really random. Yeah, see ya, Megan. Don't, you know, you also don't know that it's an egg, so don't get drawn outside. What are my thoughts on sand? Sand's pretty cool. It gets all up in between your cheeks sometimes, which can be not so cool, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Inglourious Basterds was really good for sure. I mean, just the dialogue itself. I mean, it's been out long enough. I mean, I hate spoiling it, so spoilers. But the one thing I felt like the movie itself was marketed really strangely. Like it was marketed as if though, you know, it was this team of bastards and they're killing the Nazis and bleepity blabbity blue, and it's going to be a raunching good time. But it was actually a really fucking serious story that only like loosely crossed paths, I feel like, with the bastards. And then most of the bastards get killed in a basement. You never have a gunfight in a basement. We all know that. But I just feel like it was like killing all of them, and then at the end scene as well. I don't know. It kind of like, I feel like I didn't get to know the bastards as much as I would have liked to have. But there were a lot of other characters that you did get to know, such as the one Nazi. Who's the Nazi actor who like drinks milk? You know what I'm talking about? He was so good. He was like so fucking. He was just. That was the first time I'd seen him, and he went on to be in, I think, James Bond movie and some other stuff. But he is incredibly talented. It was really funny. I saw him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and he got coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. And dude, it was like the most awkward. It was like the most awkward fucking, I don't know, interaction between two celebrities I'd ever seen. Like it generally seemed like that guy was not a super. Wait, Colonel Hans Landa, played by Christopher Waltz. Yeah, Christopher Waltz is really, really good. But yeah, Christopher Waltz did not seem like he was a big fan of Jerry Seinfeld, and maybe he might just be a really serious guy, you know what I mean? Just not looking to like have a bit of a laugh, but I don't know. It was just almost like cringy to like watch them interact because it felt strange. I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, he was great, and just like this. That's a bingo, you know. Just I don't know. Like going from like really cheery and welcoming to just like evil. I am very, very evil, and everything I say is meant to scare you. You know, it was pretty good. pretty good. He speaks both French, German, as well as English fluently. His scenes were, yeah, that was really cool. You're not a big fan of Jerome? Oh, you mean Jerry Seinfeld? Yeah, I'm not, like, I like Jerry Seinfeld as, like, just a person, you know what I mean? Like, you're hanging out with him, he seems chill. But, you know, I don't know. I guess I could see why people would be like, get the fuck out of here, Jerry. I've had enough of you being a fucking billionaire on, like, a half-baked sitcom show. No disrespect, of course. I was sitting on the couch watching TV. My daughter was asleep on a blanket on the floor, and the dog, a husky Akita hybrid, was about 10 feet away, laying in the doorway between our kitchen and the living room area. I was watching whatever it was that I was watching when, all of a sudden, Thor, our dog, starts with this low-level, guttural growling. I figured that he heard someone in another Christopher Waltz. You think he's not a great person? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He seems a little bit disconnected from the general public overall. I just remember, like, he does a lot of, like, I've talked about this before, but whenever he's on Comedians in Cars Getting Comedy, he does a lot of, like, commentary on his surroundings, but in, like, a really cringy way where, like, if you were his teenage kids, right, and you had to listen to Dad trying to fucking, like, observe every aspect of spatial reality to absorb and then translate it through some, like, you know, gears grinding in his head mental process to, like, write a joke out of it, and then constantly talking about the meta concepts of comedy as a whole and stand-up comedy. But then with all of that being said, him just generally not being fucking funny at all. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, a lot of it's just, like, really cringy. And, you know, like, I knew he was a billionaire, but as soon as I saw him pick up, like, a packet of, like, Little Debbie's, and he's like, Little Debbie's? Who? What? The fucking shit? The fucking shit is this? That was, like, essentially his statement. It was as if though he couldn't, like, in his billionaire brain, where somebody goes and buys him groceries for him and, you know, and drives one of his 50,000 cars to the grocery store to get it, like, he couldn't comprehend why someone would eat a bunch of, like, packaged and stored, you know, high fructose corn syrup nonsense for snacks. It was just, like, such a foreign concept to him that he had to, like, try and make some shit joke out of it. And it was, oh wait, somebody became a member of the Buttersaw cult, and then it said message retracted, but it took your name away too, so I apologize. Please at me or welcome. Thoughts on Crush 40? I don't know what Crush 40 is. It sounds familiar though. Crush 40. Is that like a meme? Crush 40. That sounds like a Kickstarter. Welcome to Crush 40. I figured that he had heard someone in another apartment or walking by through the parking lot and didn't think much of it. He was very defensive like that, so it wasn't like it was too out of the ordinary. After a few seconds pass, I notice that it's getting louder, and I can see out of the corner of my eye that he's lifted his head up off of his paws, his ears are perked, and he's looking at the ceiling over where my daughter was laying. I look up, don't see anything all, and tell him to knock it off. Right after I tell him to stop, he jumps up, starts circling my sleeping daughter, literally walking around the blanket that she was laying on, and growing more and more intensely, and growling more and more. Oh, Pastella. Oh, okay, thank you, Pastella, and welcome to the Badasak cult. There's a if you didn't know, Pastella, or anybody who's a new member, there is a playlist with bonus content. There's 15 videos in it as of now. Hoping to do another one related to Krampus for the holidays this month. So stay tuned for that. Snow day tomorrow, Kelso? Yeah, it's supposed to snow on Thursday, at least on the East Coast. Oh, they made songs for Sonic the Hedgehog. That's cool. Rolling around at the speed of sound. You got nowhere to go. I'm gonna suck on your rainbow. That's the one. Right after I tell him to stop, he jumps up, starts circling my sleeping daughter, literally walking around her blanket that she's laying on, and growling more and more intensely, even stopping once and outright snarling and snapping his teeth, all the while staring up at the ceiling. After about 2 or 3 minutes, and me having no clue what to do since I can't see anything, I did not want to reach for my daughter with him circling her like that, and he laid down next to my daughter, rested his head on her back, and stayed there for almost an hour, still intently staring up at the ceiling and occasionally growling. I make sure it was just some kind of false alarm. I went upstairs to knock on the door of the apartment above us. No one answered the door, and I didn't hear so much as a peep from inside. As far as I could tell, the place was empty, but as we know by this point, Thor seemed to think otherwise. To this day, I have no idea what the hell was going on or what he saw or sensed, but it was extremely creepy to me. Thor had never acted like that before. Actually, I'm not going to say the word hell. It's a Christmas video, guys. Come on. Come on, guys. It's a Christmas video. We can't say bad words. Fucking shit, bitch. Sorry. To this day, I have no idea what was going on or what he saw or sensed, but it was extremely creepy to me. Thor had never acted like that before, and he's never acted like that since. Part of me wants to know what was going on, if it was just a rat in the floorboards or something, and I just creep myself out for no reason. But then again, if there's any other less tangible explanation, I'd rather not know at all. Oh, fuck. Rolling around at the speed of cum, jizz and balls and penis. Alright, where were we? That was... I'm lost on which story we were on. Try to keep these in order. Beep bop 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 beep bop bow. Beep bop bow. Beep bop 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 beep boop bow. Weeb tune with the Tooses help me survive the night shift, senor. Can you do jumping jacks? Hoo ha hoo ha hoo. Oh no, have you checked the cams lately to make sure Febby and the gang are not getting ever closer to you? I never understood that game, Five Nights at Febby's. Like, why if, like, the things try and kill you, why couldn't he just keep the doors forever closed? Why did those doors ever need to be open? It was like he was taunting them to come in there and just, like, eat his skin. Also, like, if you know, you survive a night of killer animatronics, like, why would you come back? The money must have been fucking fire. We pay you over $16 an hour. But be careful, because those things come to fucking life and then they shove you into their mouths and turn you into a mush. Alright, we'll see you in the morning. Wait, what? What the fuck? You only have X amount of electricity. That's even, like, stupid. It's like, okay. Also, be careful, because you're gonna have to figure out like, you know, like nuclear engineer levels of like diverting energy to different doors and stuff. And meanwhile, you're just like a 16-year-old like pizza kid. Does it ever say like your main character's like motivation for being there? Like why? Like is the money just too gosh dang good? I was working day shift on a drilling rig in the middle of nowhere, and I had volunteered to stay on over the holidays in exchange for the extra pay. At one point, the rig manager comes to me and tells me that I have to switch to nights to supervise the new guy and make sure all the assigned tasks are completed. Apparently, he failed to complete almost all of his important duties the night before, so now I'm stuck on nights until he improved. I work with this kid, and he seems good, a guy with a solid work ethic. I can't understand why he failed the previous night. We completed all the work inside, and now it was time to go get a few things done outside. I tell him, let's get after oil changing that... let's get after oil. Get after it. Capitalism? Yeah. The teenage kid with looking for part-time work is an absolute fucking pizza security tycoon, bro. You love the theories on that game. It was an interesting time, I feel like, on YouTube. One that I wish that I would have capitalized on at the time, because I remember one of the bigger videos that like really started to get Mr. Nightmare to pop off was sort of like a Five Nights at Freddy's related like Chuck E. Cheese video that I remember he had like some legal trouble and actually had to take down or some shit. It might have just been nonsense, but it was pretty funny. But yeah, I remember this one guy. What the hell was his name? Because I remember there was a lot of YouTubers that I would like look at longingly because they would have really successful channels, and you know, starting out on YouTube in like 2014 and shit, you look at their channels and just be like, fuck, dude, I should have did that, or I should have did, you know. I think his name was, oh, hold on a second. He had like Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. Five Nights at Freddy's and Skyrim. It was like Skyrim shit. Oh, yeah, FNAF. Hey, guys. The most hated FNAF YouTuber. Imagine if your face just shows up on one of these stupid, like... I love that, how they, like... These people, like, make literal, like, hit pieces on, like, various YouTubers, and it's like... Also, this video that's completely destroying someone's reputation is brought to you by Keeps. Be sure... Are you going fucking bald like me, sitting in my room for 19 hours a day, looking up every piece of information about another human being? Well, you're gonna need Keeps. What is his name? It's right fucking... Wait, Smike. Yeah, Smike. Do you remember Smike? Whatever happened to Smike? He is a... Oh, he made a thing a year ago. I played a scary game. Alright. Whatever. Poor guy. Anyways, he tried his best. We all try our best on here, on the YouTubes. I should have an animation channel. I should, honestly. I wish I did. Instead, random people just steal my stories and make fucking animations like within 5 seconds. Am I thinking of a moon horse? I don't think so. I don't remember moon horse. Let's look up moon horse. Moon horse, neckbeard. Moon horse, the Norse. Moon horse reads an interesting Korra answer. Okay. Oh, wait. Wait, are you thinking of the same one? Because their channel seems pretty small. I don't know if that would be...
Hey all, I hope you're having a great night. Let us wake up tomorrow and be the best we can be. Let us conquer each and every day we get on this planet and go get what it is that we want out of life. We got it. Heck yeah, Coco. I respect that. Honestly, as time goes on, I mean, this June, I'll be turning 33 years old, which, granted, I don't feel very old, and I feel rather relatively spry. I'm blessed to not have any health issues that I know of, going on and all that kind of shit. But, when you see people just like randomly die at like in their 50s or 60s, and they don't live to be fucking 90 something, you know what I mean? It's, I don't know, it's a little scary, and even though like sometimes the whole like seize the day type of like concepts might feel kind of cringy a little bit, where you're just like, oh, whatever, dude, we heard it 1,000 times. It's kind of true. I mean, it's like, objectively speaking, life goes by pretty quick. And I saw this like YouTube short the other day where they're asking this guy what it's like to be 68, 68's not terribly old in the grand scheme of old, but it's not terribly young either. And they asked him what that's like, and they're like, well, it's kind of like as if though you worked out a bunch the day before, even though you didn't, and you woke up feeling really fucking sore, just cuz, and then when you go in to look in the mirror, you sometimes scream a little bit accidentally because you scare yourself because you're expecting to see 23-year-old you, but it's actually you, but old. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Just because it's not like you listen to people that get older and you kind of expect them to be like talking about God or something like that, or some sort of spiritual wisdom, but sometimes there's, you get older and nothing really changes and you're just kind of going along. Bro, you just reminded me of a dream I had that I smoked a cigarette and I can't get the feeling out of my chest. I had the... Oh, interesting. That's weird. I wonder if it was like a physical manifestation, appearing as if though you were smoking a cigarette in your dream, but it's actually something physical that you're experiencing separate from an actual cigarette. It does. Take every day as a gift. My dog of 12 years passed away this morning. Yesterday we were playing fetch and he was sleeping on my bed. This morning he was gone. Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. Death is just... It's a strange thing, It just fucking happens and you just kind of have to be like, oh, alright. And then you think about all those people on Twitter who like all they do all day is like yell at each other. And maybe they get addicted to that feeling of just like a certain sense of self-importance, but also like a certain sense of just like being addicted to anger. Like when you're gonna fucking die, maybe tomorrow, or the person you're talking to is definitely gonna die, and maybe they even wish that was faster, but at the same time, like, why would you do that? Why would you ever wish death on somebody else? You know what I mean? Or, it's just an oddity to me, you know what I mean? That, like, people wake up and choose chaos every single day in their minds and hearts. And it's like, dude, choose joy, you know what I mean? Choose peace. Choose looking at fucking the thing that frustrated you before and just letting it the fuck go. You know what I mean? Just like, whatever. I can't control you, or blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Just... whatever. Sorry, Lila. I don't mean to be depressing. It's just strange. Strange world. Anyways. I tell him, let's get after oil change. Wait, what the fuck is this saying? Let's get after oil changing that loader. Okay. I tell him that let's get after oil changing that loader. I tell him that we should get after changing the oil in that loader, and he tells me that he can't work outside in the dark.
I kind of laugh and say that we are definitely going to do that oil change. He is scared. Real fear. I ask him why, and he tells me. Now keep it. What the fuck is that? This makes. Don't ruin your high. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is why I don't get high, because my brain just like it's too many things going on. Okay. I tell him, let's get after that oil change on that loader. He tells me that he can't work outside in the dark. I kind of laugh and say we are definitely going to do that oil change. And then it's period. He is scared, period. Real fear, period. I ask him why, and he tells me, period. What the fuck? Peace was never an option. I know. Maybe we're just geared that way as humans. We're just geared for war. Just geared for conflict. Wow. Period. Period. I tell him that we should get after changing that oil on the loader, and he tells me that he can't work outside in the dark. I kind of laugh and say that we are definitely going to do that oil change. And he says he's scared. I look at him, and there's real fear in his eyes. I ask him why, and he tells me. Now keep in mind that the rig is in the middle of nowhere, hours to the closest small town out if the bush. This person must have been drunk when they wrote this. That's like such a weird thing. He has done everything asked him. I ask him why, and he tells me. What the fuck? He doesn't, but it doesn't say what. This is so fucking confusing, dude. It says, I ask him why, and he tells me. And then it goes on to not tell you what he told him. I don't fucking understand. Now keep in mind the rig is in the middle of nowhere, hours to the closest small town out of the bush. And his story went like this. He had done everything asked of him inside and went and started working out of the buildings on the lease outside. He got hungry, so he grabbed his lunch. He left an apple on the hood of the truck and walked away for a few minutes. When he came back, the apple was still in the hood of the truck, but there was now a bite out of it. He looked on the ground, and there were human shoe prints leading out of the trees to the truck and back into the trees. We're in the middle of nowhere, and there is no way someone should be out there in the bush in that temperature at that time of night. So I start thinking, that means somebody was watching him from the darkness of the trees and took the time to mess with him. This person is either the funniest guy alive or a super strange bushman. Looking at where we were, the chances of him being the funniest guy ever were very slim. So now we have a strange man in the bush watching us. As a 6'4", 260-pound rig hand, I'm weirded right out by this story. It sent a shiver right up my spine when I realized how that must have gone down. We went, and the footsteps were still there. We changed the oil. We changed the oil, but we both had pipe wrenches as weapons in case we had a visitor, and it still creeps me out to this day. Super strange bush, man. Oh man. Out in the bush is an Australia term. Oh yeah, maybe that's where they're at.
doing a rig. Do they have rigs out in Australia? Australia. Hello from Wisconsin. Hello. Oh, hey, Haley. Maybe you know this. There's a highway in Wisconsin called WI-57. How do you pronounce that? If you were saying, yeah, we were on the WI-57, would you say WI, or would you say the Wisconsin 57? Or would you say we were on the Wiz 57? I don't know. Or did you just say we're on the I-57? If it had that name or something. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Or how you would describe certain highways with like a WI before it. Sometimes there are snakes in the bush. The Wii 57. The Wii U. The Wii Mote 57. Oh, you call it the Wisconsin 57. Okay, interesting. Well, I think I called it that. I don't remember. I guess we'll find out when I edit it later, but I think I called it the Wisconsin 57 or Highway 57 or something. You're 35 and you wake up sore every day. I guess that makes sense, especially if you had like previous injuries. Yeah, stretching. Honestly, making a daily habit of just some stretchos. That makes sense. You called it the 57. Well, that's okay. The person going through there, I like to imagine that they have a bit of a nickname for it, even though they literally wrote it. But I like to imagine who they are in my head. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm on the 57. Alright, friends, last story of the night. Didn't ask your mom was cleaning eggs from the walls. You must have upset a boy or something. Maybe a girl too, who knows? You have either upset a boy or a girl. That's my detective reasoning there. And they went as far as to egg your house. I egged in house before. Earlier tonight, actually. It was your house. Okay, so I work at a maximum security psychiatric hospital. As you can probably imagine, these kinds of experiences come with the territory. To set the scene for you, the hospital I work at was built in the 50s as an asylum. The concrete walls, fuck. You have no idea. Jaja. It smells so bad. Maybe it was the chickens. They just like shot eggs out of their ass at you. Pew, 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 pew. I should have said hi. I spelled hi on the side of your house in egg. I actually used the chicken as a machine gun. I wonder if that exists as a weapon in a video game. Like you get to use a chicken as a gun. Oh, you Americans and your guns. You Americans. The concrete walls are cold and sounds echo. Whoops. The concrete walls are cold and sounds echo throughout it with relative ease. The pressure differentials between units in the main hall create a haunting howling sound as the air escapes through the cracks under the doors. We typically keep the lights out to encourage patients to sleep through the night. And then there's me, walking the halls alone to check that everyone is still breathing. I've heard people laughing to themselves, whispering conversations to someone unseen by me. I've even ran to emergencies where other patients have snuck into another's room to beat them violently, having to pull a 300-plus pound man off another man he attacked in his sleep, all the while he was still stomping on his head. But the scariest things were when I was doing a round on Christmas Eve, and I came across one of our blind patients. You know how in movies you see the people with hallucinations that cut their eyes out for looking for relief? What? No, I don't know that. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, maybe, what the fuck is it? Dead Space. I have to summon the egg hag. The egg. No one will believe you. Bakak. Wait a second. Never mind.
You know how in movies you see people with hallucinations that cut their eyes out looking for relief? No, I didn't find a pair of peepers freshly gouged out, if that's what you were thinking. However, this patient had in fact done exactly this a number of years ago, and as a result was completely blind. The worst part is, it didn't make the hallucinations go away. Now all he can see are the haunting visions that brought him into this place in the first place. So, this patient had been with us for some time, and every night I walk by his room that he's in the same... Oops. Gears of War lets you use a unicorn as a gun that shoots rainbows out of its butt. Gears of War does that? Huh.
That's strange.
So, this patient had been with us for some time, and every night I walk by his room, he's in the same position, standing facing the wall with his back to the door. No matter how long I stand there, he doesn't move. There's nothing new, though. There's fucking shite. This is nothing new, though, as I've seen a number of patients with catatonia. Yeah, catatonia. This is nothing new, though, as I've seen a number of patients with catatonia before. They just stand or sit there with a blank or sometimes fearful expression and react to nothing. So the scary part for me was when I passed by his room, walking quietly so as to not to wake any patients, and I peek into his room through the window. He's standing facing the wall. Just before I'm about to continue on with my rounds, I see his head turn, like he heard a voice. He turns around with his empty eye sockets and looks at me. "Allie, is that you?" I nearly soiled myself. I didn't even know this patient knew my name, let alone. South Park 64. Dude, grim life. That's so funny you say that, because maybe that's what I subconsciously buried that in my head, because as soon as I asked that question, I thought to myself, I was like, wait, wasn't that on the South Park video game back on the N64? And it was. Oh my god. I'll have to go back and play that. I nearly soiled myself. I didn't even know this patient knew my name, let alone that he could tell somehow that it was me standing there. I probably should have reassured him that I was real, but in that moment, I was just too scared, so I kept walking.
I was too scared.
The unicorn gun was from Red Faction? Oh, maybe. Joel, you have to read at least 12 till 12? It is 12. It's fucking 12:33 a.m. And that was the last story, though. But we're about to read the outro. Seems like everyone must have passed out or something. It seems very quiet in the chat. This sock. This sock. I mean, my boy. I can't, though. I can't. I gotta go. I got things to do, people to see. Messes to clean up. Messes to make, too. Stop your stupid narrations. My god, just tell the fucking story. But Mark, narrating is telling the story, you silly goose. If you want to... always pass out when you go live because when you go live is when I sleep. That's true. I do start kind of late. But I feel like the later I start is I usually get more people. Oh, you're playing World of Warcraft? Oh my god. What are you doing in that game? Thanks for actually addressing me. Yeah, no worries, Mark. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, or maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories in big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All the links down in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, plopping. Something about plopping, right, I bet. No, don't go. Actually, almost coming up on 3 hours. I am literally awake. Hey, classic Mike Cade with the big 25. Thank you, my friend. Says, thank you, Joel. You and the fam have an amazing Christmas. You too, Mike. An absolute classic donation from you. Appreciate you. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. After hours at the Spooky Moose, pull up, Joel, my boy. Pull up, my boy. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna give you these hands. Was the last story like a sentence long? It was just like a quick one about somebody's experience. Plop, lock, oh, that's good. Stop, plop, and drop it. What about plop, lock, and drop it? That one's kind of good. I made that up in my head. But you gave me the idea. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, plop, lock, and drop it. Holy shit. Or would it be like a lock, or no? Lock, plop, and drop it. I don't know, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to think about something related to poop, but you get the idea. Well, my friends, as usual, appreciate you. And if you didn't remember, every Tuesday, 12 hours ago, was the release of a new podcast. So if you would rather listen to these stories over on podcasts where they're all nice and remastered and they sound even more beautiful than normal, be sure to check that out on the Let's Read podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find it. And yeah, otherwise I will get this up and edited first over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access. And then up on YouTube today, since it's midnight here on the East Coast, at 7 p.m. EST, same time, same place. And it does really help if you guys watch the videos when they do come out, just because it kind of like helps. That's what I've noticed, like the first couple hours of a video almost like determines the reach of the video, because like recommended views are like really important. So if like you guys are interested in the video early on, it like tells YouTube like, oh shoot, these guys like the video who are normal subscribers, so let's get this out to more subscribers and more recommended, people and new subscribers and that kind of thing. Joel Osteen. Whatever happened to Joel Osteen? His skin just became so shiny in his smile that he fucking flashbanged his entire audience into being blind. But that's neither here nor there. But I will be back again streaming on Thursday. Thursday is my boys and girls and gang. So, Oh yeah, be nice to Mark. Sometimes we say, I think being online, sometimes we say things, and, I try not to get mad at anybody that's, well, I guess sometimes I'm kind of rude, but I try not to be. But either way, guys, all of you, thank you for being here tonight. Like I say, yeah, just be joyful, about life. It comes and goes quick, and you got the opportunity to live it, so you might as well live it to the best of your abilities. Take those risks, take those chances that will make your life better, as long as they don't hurt anybody else. You know what I mean? You might as well go for it. Live it, live life, have it, experience it, because we're all going to be dust in the wind one day. So just make it happen. I don't know. Don't be afraid. Be not afraid, brothers and sisters. All right. Love you guys. Have an awesome night. Sleep tight, or have a great day wherever you're at in the world. We will see you soon. Goodbye.